Qatar was the host country to the biggest Asian Games ever recently, and even though Ireland doesn't participate, you might be surprised to discover that one of the main organisers of the second biggest sporting event in the world was an Irishman. Richard Noonan has spent the last 3 years in the capital Doha, so we decided to catch up with him and a few other expats there to find out their stories.
It all started a couple of years ago. I was working for Digital Solutions, an Irish company, and we basically were providing digital media services for international federations worldwide. Part of that job was to actually work with a couple of international federations in Athens in the Olympics in 2004. So as a follow-on from that, I wanted to work for the Games for the local organising committee, and believe it or not, while I was in Athens I ran into a couple of guys from Qatar, and they were actually looking for somebody to run basically their sport operations for them in Qatar for the 2006 Asian Games. My role was sport operations, so we developed it after speaking to numerous international federations worldwide into a 39 sport event with a total of 424 events in the world, which was the biggest event worldwide. I mean, to give you a scale, I guess the Olympic Games is the only bigger event. I mean, you have 10,000 competing athletes, you have 2,500 technical officials. It's a lot of people in a very small country over a very small time. A lot was built from scratch. We initially started with 6 venues, but I need to speak about one of these venues in particular because we've got an Aspire Zone. I'm not sure if you know what the Aspire Zone here is in Qatar, but it's the biggest indoor sport facility in the world. So when I came here, it was a ruin basically. It was sand, and they built this thing in 2 years and flat out. They built a fantastic stadium, which is now Khalifa Stadium. They built an indoor facility which now houses the Aspire program, which is basically taking athletes from all over the world and training them and trying to become the elite athletes of the world. Then they now have 3 50-metre swimming pools. They've got 3 25-metre dive pools, going at 5 metres. We brought in a velodrome. We basically popped a velodrome off the ground into their hockey pitch that was in their indoor hall. We built a sailing venue in probably around 3 weeks. We built a rowing venue in probably around 3 months, and they finished off then their shooting venue only I think 2 weeks before the event actually started. But this is actually going to be, as a legacy for Qatar, the biggest shooting place in the world. It's quite an astonishing trap and skeet and pistol rifle range. The sports that were fantastic, believe it or not, were sports that we probably never heard of in Ireland. I mean, kabaddi is one sport that looks like butcher that you played in the schoolyard when you were a kid. Sepak takraw is like handball with your feet. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. You've got to see the sport. It's really, really good. It's huge in Malaysia and Thailand, these places. It's really fascinating. And then, of course, you have the Olympic sports, the normal attractions. Athletics had its crowds. And then I suppose the biggest one we actually had was football. I mean, football is huge in Qatar. I mean, they sell out their stadium. This stadium actually, Al Saad had the final, and it was absolutely sold out, full of Qataris, and nobody else in the place. And with 3 hours before the closing ceremony, we were very nervous that nobody would come to the closing ceremony. Everybody would just come to the football match, and that would be it. We'd never see them again. So thank God in the end they came. I met a couple of guys in the pub one night. Actually, I met a girl, which is hilarious. No, didn't snog her, but basically I met a girl who told me there was a Gaelic football team, and I was absolutely shocked. I was like, I called my dad about 3 hours later, but my dad was actually a Gaelic football team. Now, I was no expert as a kid, believe me. But we have a couple of good guys. I mean, we have Russell Casey, who plays for Westmeath, who was a senior Leinster medal winner. We had a guy called Ben Keane, played for Tipperary for 100 years, but Tipperary have won that, so who cares really?
He's going to love you for that.
I came out here about 2 years ago with Mercury Engineering, and having been involved in Gaelic football since about maybe 12 years old, now 47. It was an obvious thing to do, just keep going. And it's like a regeneration out here.
So it's not frustrating to play with these lads?
No. I mean, the amount of people and different cultures that we have playing here is fantastic. We have Australians, New Zealanders, English, Scottish. There's some Egyptians here. Like, there's a full culture. And trying to teach these guys how to put their toe under the ball and pick it up, you're able for anything once you can do that.
This is our life. Every Tuesday night we come to Gaelic. A lot of organisation in it, emails going out to push the boys. They're tired after work and say, okay, it's a bit like school, give me your excuses. No excuse, falling asleep on the couch, set your alarm. Tournaments then, we play in the Middle East, and all the Middle East have different Gaelic football teams. So we've been to Bahrain this year, we won in Bahrain, we're in Oman this weekend, we won in Oman this weekend. Dubai are coming down to us, and then it's great to meet other people in other Middle East countries and get to know them and see what their life is like, and the chatting back, and it just makes more of an Irish community then as well. But Gaelic is always there, and we're very, very, very keen.
I was out here 5 years ago. A friend of mine was a head pro here. I came out and played the Qatar Open, and I got an invite to play in the Qatar Masters 3 months later. So I was out here twice in the space of 3 months, enjoyed it. And when I was leaving, the day I was leaving a job position became available to work out here, so I decided to take him up on it. I've seen Pádraig Harrington play here, I think it was about 4 years ago. He played well, I think he finished 5th. He shot 29 on the back 9. The last 8 moved from mid-30th position to top 5, I think, so that was incredible. And Graham McDowell has been here a few times, Darren Clark, Paul McGinley is an annual visitor, and he puts in a very good performance every year. Then we've had Gary Murphy and Peter Lowry and Damien McGrain here play here, so that's great because when they come out they mix with the Irish community, and it's nice to see them out here. We do a lot of coaching, organising corporate golf days, coaching again in the evenings, taking care of the members, but at the moment it's getting a bit quieter. The temperature is raising, so we'll try and stay out of the sun in the mornings, and then when the sun goes down, the whole place is floodlit. We got except for the championship course, we got a 9-hole academy course floodlit. All the practice facilities are floodlit, so basically everything kicks off once the sun starts going down, and then we work till quite late at night.
But here, the sport facilities are fantastic, and the amount of events you get to see. I mean, I could name off 17 sports, and there's an international sport event here. And I mean, you know, Ireland's supposed to have the Celtic Tiger and should be investing far more money than this in sport. I mean, you know, sport is what will develop the youth of Ireland, and we need to kind of keep them at home, and I think that's one way of keeping them there.